Good morning. Woo, that was loud. Are you all awake now? Good, okay. Welcome to this place of peace and justice. In this Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm no matter who you are, whom you love, or where you are on your journey, you are welcome here. For those of you joining us online, we are so glad you're with us. If you are visiting with us today, we invite you to sign our visitor's book, which is back there. And if you would like to join us for coffee hour downstairs, if you would like to, feel free to take a green mug so that we can be sure to greet you. Also, members and friends, to help folks connect, remember to wear your name tag, and mine's downstairs. I'll put it on when we go downstairs with your pronoun stickers. But please do wear your name tags. It makes it so much easier for visitors. If you need a new name tag, you can request that in the living room at the desk. I'm Julia Beckman. My pronouns are she and hers. I am so pleased to be with you as the worship associate today. Our music will be provided by the wonderful Carolyn May, who was just playing Claire de Lune as you came in. During the summer months, and we also have Tony Metters, and of course our minister is here today too. She will introduce herself later. During the summer months, our services will be intergenerational. That means there will be a gathering space and activities in the living room for children of all ages. All voices are welcome here. And of course, 2 weeks from today, we begin our services outside, which will be lovely. There's always a lot going on around the church, and you can read all about it in News and Notes, which arrives in your inbox every Friday. And there are printed copies available downstairs. If you'd like to receive the News and Notes, please do stop by the welcome table and leave us your email address, and then you will receive it as well. And please join us after the service for our year-end picnic. Yay, picnic. Next week we will be attending the Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly, the annual meeting of our association. Reverend Beth will be representing us there, but we will be sharing the Sunday morning worship together right here via live stream. Reverend Beth?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Julia. And I want to add my welcome to that of Julia's. I'm the Reverend Dr. Beth Johnson. My pronouns are she, they, and I don't know if we said that we will start at 10 o'clock next week. That's okay. And then the 10 o'clock time will be for the whole summer, okay? Because it gets a little, gets a little warm, and we know that people want to go on and do some things. So I'm just going to invite you to take a breath with me. Yeah, and just arrive. As we arrive from the various parts of our day, the various parts of our lives, and the various parts of ourselves. We begin with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we in the western suburbs inhabit areas that are the traditional territories of the many indigenous peoples from this area. As people trying to live into a more just world, we have a responsibility to acknowledge the history and legacy of colonialism, the harm done to Native peoples, and to also work to repair that harm. So it's always an interesting question for me of what songs do we sing for Flower Communion. Norbert Chapek, who developed the Flower Communion, you'll hear more about him later, has some songs in the hymnal. But what struck me today and this time is the invitation to hope that the song that we're about to sing invites us to, which is Come Sing a Song With Me by Unitarian Carolyn McDade. It is an invitation as we consider all that is happening in our world, the things that give us hope, millions of people in the streets, the things that break us wide open, which is the political violence and the assassination of Minnesota lawmaker, House Speaker, actually, and her husband. So we just hold all of that with us as we come and arrive into the space. And so this song is an invitation to sing a song of hope. So I'm going to invite you to rise, embody your spirit, and invite you to sing with me. I didn't mention that she is also our choir director, and I love that you were doing that. You can't help yourself. And Tony, of course, is in the choir and a musician with us. I'd like to call us into worship this morning with words by Thomas Rhodes. All of us are beautiful, like flowers. We come in a variety of colors and shapes and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches. Some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward. Some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground. Some of us stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds, which are simply flowers that people don't like. Sometimes. Some of us carry seeds. Sometimes. Some of us are prickly. Sometimes. Some of us smell. And all of us are beautiful. Look around. What a beautiful bouquet of people we are. It is good to be together.
Good morning. I'm Tony Metters. I identify as an African American male. My pronouns are he, him. I'm happy to be with you. We're going to do our chalice lighting with these words, Rising Flame, by none other than Reverend Dr. Beth Johnson. Each Sunday, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world by beginning our services by lighting a chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. On this Sunday, as we remember the stories that inspire and guide us, stories of hope and of life rising up in the face of danger and death, we share part of our story as Unitarian Universalists, the story of the flaming chalice. The flaming chalice originated during World War II when the Unitarian Services Committee was working to get people safely out of the grasp of the Nazis. The artist who was commissioned to create the symbol, Hans Deutsch, took his inspiration from the chalices of oil burned on ancient Greek and Roman altars. It became an underground symbol in occupied Europe during World War II for assistance to help Unitarians, Jews, homosexuals, and other people escape Nazi persecution.
We light our chalice today in honor of all those who have gone before and have tended and fueled the flame of our faith, who themselves burned with the passion for justice, mercy, and compassion here in this place and around the world. We light this chalice to illuminate our way in this time and in a world so in need of the fire of compassion and creativity, of justice and love. May this flame rise up and burn brightly, and may we ourselves rise up and burn brightly as tenders and bearers of this flame. As we celebrate life's beauty, may we never forget that we are part of it. It is woven not only around us, but through us. We are here to notice those elegant strands, the way they call to us, hold us, and connect us. May today enable that beauty to shine.
We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. Please join me in these offertory words. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we learn together, the work we do together, the fun we have together. It is what we share with one another, with the people around us, and with the world.
Like, thank you, Carolyn. I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you so much. I do want to acknowledge that the slides today, the flowers on the slides, those photos are taken by our own Bob Daniel Wayman. So thank you for the beautiful image, Bob. So I invite us into a Father's Day meditation. Happy Father's Day to those of you who are fathers, have been fathered, of whatever gender have done fathering. Known or unknown, seen or unseen, ambivalent or assured, we all have or have had fathers of one type or another. They have been in or out of our lives, present even if absent, gratitude and frustration, dependence and independence, love and longing. We respond to them and they to us. Father, Dad, Papa, Daddy. The idea of father is not as tidy these days as it has been in some imprecise past. Breadwinner, bacon bringer, master of the castle, second in command, God being first, public face of the family, bearer of the name, giver of the gaze, strongly manly, certain knowing best. It has never been quite so simple, though, has it? But now we have different ideas of how we can imagine father. They are the caregivers, the homeschoolers, the carpool driving, so transparently present it breaks your heart, tender with murmurs and words and gestures, unashamedly asking directions. These notions that identities are multiple and gender ambiguous, that wholeness moves us beyond duality, these expose enclosures as merely constructed and thereby capable of being overcome. Whatever one believes about the actuality, the metaphors open up possibilities of a different type of transcendence, the transcendence of neat categories, assumptions, limitations of Father, and perhaps even God. And so today we celebrate Father's Day. So near the summer solstice, we pause once more to turn the wheel toward our becoming. The metaphors reimagine, reconceive, remember, make whole, and father and mother and parent become limitless possibilities, pregnant with justice, love. You, men, fathers, genderqueer and all, shed tears of sorrow and joy and compassion. I know you do, sometimes abashedly, sometimes I say, let tears flow. Let them flow with mine and ours. Let them wash us clean of all social constructions, hence freedom. And if there is no essence, then let them wash us to a place of fresh becoming. To each of you, to all of the fathers, all who have had fathers, all who are missing or will be embracing them today, all love and all blessings to you. And to the fathers in this congregation who have shepherded us over the years. Deep bows. I'm going to invite us into another breath as we are going to do joys and sorrows a little bit differently today because we're a little bit crowded over here. But I want you to trust me that if you have a joy or a sorrow, it will be heard, okay? So I am going to invite you to just take a breath. And I'm going to invite you to go ahead and connect with whatever it is that you brought with you today. Your joys, your sorrows, your hopes, your aspirations, your longings, your loves, your uncertainty. Just bring it all. And whatever it is. And in a moment, I'm going to invite you to call out what it is that you have on your heart. If I can understand it and hear it, I will repeat it. And if not, really, this joys and sorrows time is a time to hold the space for all that is. So if individuals don't hear it, believe me, the Holy Spirit of Unitarian Universalism will hear it and hold it, as will all of us. I want to begin by saying I've had wonderful visits with Harriet Goff, and the visits are deep and meaningful, and cards would be appreciated, right, Joan? Okay. I also want to drop a pebble for Gene Parvin, who had a little bit of an accident last week. He's in the hospital, he has a broken leg. He is doing fine in Park Place, where he's rehabbing. So cards, and you can find out what room he's in if you want to ask me. So for Gene and all who assisted him. And so, beloved, if you'd like to call out your joy or sorrow, we are here to hear it and hold it. Yes? Yes, new baby. Hazel, thank you. I saw pictures earlier. Yes. For fathers. Say it again. Josephine and Cecil Gilmore. Joyful No Kings rally in LaGrange and Naperville and Chicago. And we're close to the 3.5%, y'all. Let's keep it coming. You know what that means, right? We need 3.5% people to, yeah, good. Anything else? I want to acknowledge a special guest. I'm sorry, I didn't tell my colleague that I was doing this, but this is Sarasvati. I'm Swamini Sarasvati, who is visiting with us today. Welcome, dear colleague. Any other? Oh, right. Yes, Jonathan. Wonderful, for reunions with brothers in Canada. Beautiful, beautiful. For all the joys and sorrows, for those spoken, they were mostly joys today, but there are some sorrows, I think, too. Would you hold with me a moment of silent reflection? Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Holy One moving in, through, and among us. We pause before the next thing, acknowledging all that's been heard, all that is being held. As we move through our days, may we remember the interconnectedness and the belonging that comes from community, reminding us that we are never alone. And you, each of you, know this. You are always and everywhere held in love and mystery deeper than you can know. I'd like to share a prayer for you by my colleague A.J. Tyne. Great mystery which grounds us and surrounds us, divine presence known by many names and in many ways, be with us in this hour of attention, this hour set apart from the rest of the week. This is a time to breathe, to take stock of all that is our lives, a time to mourn those we've lost, a time to celebrate the love that has sustained us, a time to rest in the larger love, to find what healing may come by connecting the deepest source within ourselves. A time to remind ourselves of our values and our commitments, to go forth and shape our actions, a world worthy of the love that is its inheritance. Spirit of democracy and liberty that is unquenchable within us and within the best traditions of our shared nation. Be with us in these times of turmoil, of upheaval, of change. May the changes we demand come from the sweat of our own labor. May the errors of this age lead us to better wisdom about how to live with one another, about how to build up societies and nations and governments and communities. May the evil that stalks our land be met with resistance and compassionate strength. May those who are most targeted and victimized by state violence find allies, support, and liberation from bondage. May all war and escalating violence and genocide give way to peace and reparation. May everything become whole somehow. Amen. And blessed be. I'm going to invite us to sing Meditation on Breathing. I believe that I do not have the slide, but it is number 1009 in your teal hymnal, and I think we know this. Just to kind of bring us back into the space of breath. It begins with a drone. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Then we go to the melody. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Beautiful. Norbert Fabian Čapek was born June 3rd, 1870, in the village of Radomice in Bohemia, then a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He was raised as a Roman Catholic, which was then the state-dominated religion. Because remember when we talked about UU history, we said that you could go to bed Catholic and then wake up as some sort of a Protestant sect. Well, he was in Roman Catholic territory. But he became a Baptist at the age of 18, and soon after he became a career as a missionary, a minister, a publicist, and a composer of hymns. He served a congregation in Saxony for 3 years and then moved to Moravia, where he established a new congregation. In 1901, he was elected chair of the Union of Baptist Churches of Moravia and Slovakia. He published religious journals and became assistant editor of a popular literary magazine. His religious stance became increasingly liberal, influenced by the social gospel of Walter Rauschenbusch and by the study of radical Christian movements in Czech religious history. Yes, radical religious movements in Czech religious history. Kopek became interested in Unitarianism in 1910 as a result of a meeting with Toma Mrezek, then professor and later to be president of Czechoslovakia. Kopek tried that year, without success, to get the American Unitarian Association to support his efforts to promote liberal religion. At the beginning of World War I in 1914, Kopek moved to the United States after being advised that he was in danger of arrest by Austrian authorities because of his nationalistic and anti-Catholic writings. Early in 1915, he was tried for heresy by a Baptist tribunal, but acquitted. And for the next 3 years, he worked for the pastor of the First Slovak Baptist Church in Newark, New Jersey. During this time, he organized an alliance of various Slovak associations and was active in the movement for Czechoslovakian independence. His wife, Maja Oktavek, was born April 8th in 1888 in Bohemia, came to the United States in 1907 and obtained a degree from Columbia University School of Library Science. And in 1909, went to work at the Webster branch of the New York Public Library. In 1914, she was put in charge of its Czech section. Now, you can imagine what's going to happen next. There she met Norbert. They were married June 23rd, 1917. It's very interesting to me that we're celebrating this communion in June and all these things in their lives are happening in June. Kopek had already been married and widowed twice, and he had 9 children. Maja resigned her position at the library a week after their marriage. They bought a home in Belleville, and in 1919, Kopek became a pastor of a small congregation. But in the September of that year, having come to the conclusion that he could no longer be a Baptist, he resigned that pastorate. At the end of World War I, Czechoslovakia became independent, and many Czechs decided to leave the Roman Catholic Church. Kopek was eager to return to his native land and play a part in its spiritual reawakening. He and Maja decided in 1920 to sell their Belleville home to get money for the voyage. Because of the delay in the buyer's payment, they found it necessary to vacate the house and rent an apartment in East Orange, New Jersey. While living there, they encouraged their school-age children to try out various churches, Sunday schools, and then report back to them on their lessons. The one they finally found that had pleased them was the First Unitarian of Essex County in Orange, after the children had attended several times. Now, how many of you would have thought to send your kids to RE before you came? Okay, but I'm assuming some of these children were older, too. Norbert and Maja also visited the church, and there they found not only clear heads, but warm hearts, too. They signed the membership book on January 10th, 1921. The minister, Dr. Walter Reed Hunt, learning of Kopek's intent to return to Czechoslovakia, arranged for him to meet the president of the American Unitarian Association, Dr. Samuel A. Elliott. By May, Kopek had a commitment from the AUA to support his work in Czechoslovakia. He bid farewell to the church in Orange, and on June 5th, he and Maja returned to Europe on June 30th. By February of 1922, Kopek had organized the Prague Congregation of Liberal Religious Fellowship. The services were soon drawing standing room only crowds. The Sunday sermon was repeated and debated in a Tuesday evening program. On June 24th, 1923, the first flower communion was celebrated. Maja was ordained as a minister in 1926. For several years, the fellowship met in rented halls. With financial help from the AUA and the British and Foreign Unitarian Association, they acquired and renovated a medieval palace. In 1930, the Unitarian Church of Czechoslovakia was officially recognized by the Czech government. In 1939, shortly before German occupation of Czechoslovakia, Maja left for the United States to lecture and raise funds for a joint Unitarian Friends program. So that's the Unitarians, probably the Unitarian Service Committee, I imagine, and the American Friends, who are our beautiful Quaker friends, to assist endangered refugees and internees. The AUA, American Unitarian Association, offered positions in the U.S. to Norbert and to his daughter, Odana, and her husband, Karl Haspel, who had attended seminary in Berkeley and were now assisting the ministry in Prague. They declined the offers, feeling it their duty to remain with their people. The activities of the church continued during the occupation as before, although it was under Gestapo surveillance. And Čapek was more subtle in his sermons and articles. On March 28, 1941, Čapek and his younger daughter, Zora, were arrested by the Gestapo. They were convicted of listening to foreign radio broadcasts. Čapek was sentenced to a year in prison, but the 11 months that he had already been confined while waiting for trial were to be counted in the sentence. Zora, who not only listened to the broadcasts but shared the notes with them with other people, was given an 18-month sentence. In the midst of the wave of executions and deportations of Czechs by the Nazis, following the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, the German official in charge of the occupied country, a Gestapo officer overrode the court sentence and ordered Norbert Čapek to be sentenced to the concentration camp at Dachau, return unwanted. Daniel Wise, a theologian, wrote that when Čapek arrived in 1942, he remained there for a little over 3 months and then put to hard labor. The only eyewitnesses from Dachau, a letter written to Maja soon after the war, came from a Catholic priest who had been with Čapek in Dachau. He described their living conditions as brutal. There was such terrible hunger as they were driven to digging for earthworms and eating them. He then recounted Čapek with awe and encouragement to others at all times, sharing his meager rations, bringing a great number of others to God there in the camp, a man whose countenance carried in it, quote, a higher power. Earlier on March 31st, 1942, before the day of their final trial, Čapek passed a piece of paper to his daughter, Zora, containing his final poem. In it, he declares, "I lived amidst eternity." While in the camp, Čapek wrote poetry, songs, he uplifted the spirits of the people who struggled with him. On October 12, 1942, was sent on invalid transport, and evidently killed that day with poison gas. Maja did not learn of Čapek's death until after the war. After her lecture tour, she served as a minister in New Bedford, Massachusetts for 3 years. From 1944 to 1950, she worked for the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Agency, helping displaced persons settle in Yugoslavia, Egypt, and Palestine. She died December 1st, 1966. Those who saw and were in the presence of Norbert Čapek could feel his care, his compassion, and his commitment. Theologian Wise writes, today fascism is in 2023, he wrote, today fascism is too much afoot right here. The targeting of voting rights, civil rights, human rights, the capture of courts by powers wholly opposed to justice, the ramping up of rhetoric that demonizes the humanity of others, and beyond this, the eclipse by any rational concern for the planet by lust for profit and foolhardy distraction. There is no telling how perilous the politics of war in our near future will be, he wrote in 2023. So we here in 2025 are experiencing the perilous politics that he predicted, except for this telling, too perilous. There is no telling how damaged the planet's systems will be before we wake up, except for the telling, too damaged. And so it is. We can be unfazed by peril, as was Chapek, and live from the inspiration and the possibility and the bravery and the courage that he exhibited. So the flower communion is this beautiful celebration. What Norbert Chapek did in his community is he had people bring flowers from the fields. Now we've got some fields and some gardens, and we've got some Osco jewel flowers, and that's all good because they got picked by hands and grown with love. But how they would do it then is they had a big vase at the back of the church, and people would take a flower when they came up. So we do it a little bit differently. Maja Chapek brought the flower communion to the United States. Sometimes congregations like to celebrate it on Easter, so we don't have to necessarily think about that, or spring. Maja celebrated it and wanted it celebrated at the end of the church year. And so as we end our church year, we honor and continue that tradition and celebrate it in June, as did Norbert. I'll share with you a dedication of flowers. Oh, there's Norbert and Maja. I meant to show you. Names written in our hearts. This is an adaptation of Norbert's dedication of the flowers that I wrote, adapted for children. Spirit of life, we ask your blessings on these flowers that teach us of friendship and love. Even though we know different things and are good at different things, like these flowers, each of us is different. Each of us are good at different things. Each of these different flowers are beautiful as we are beautiful and have good things to share. May these flowers remind us of the value of doing and sharing together. May we take care of our friendship as our most precious gift. May we be happy that we have different talents, because each of us are needed to do the good work of this world. And now is the time for our flower communion. So I'm going to ask Tony and Julia to come and help me. So, you're invited to take a flower different than the one that you brought, okay? And we just kind of come on up. Oh, thanks, Paula. We get our flowers. Thank you. Yeah. Every year I forget to take pictures. So I invite you to come up kind of row by row or however you want to do it and pick a flower and take it back to your seat. And we'll have some traveling music. Yeah. Come on up. Beautiful. Go ahead and take a look at those flowers, y'all. And look around and see the flowers that we each have. You're going to have something to do with your flowers in just a little bit. But I do want to share with you Norbert Chopek's prayer, written by Norbert, of course. And his prayers and hymns are in the gray hymnal. You can look it up. In the name of Providence, which implants in the seed the future of the tree, and in the hearts of men and women the longing for people living in harmony. In the name of the highest, in whom we move and who makes the mother and father, the brother and sister, the siblings and parents who they are. In the name of the sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of peace and justice. Let us renew our resolution, sincerely, to be real brothers and sisters and siblings, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges us from each other. In this holy resolve, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family, the one Spirit. The Spirit of love unites us, and may we endeavor for a more perfect and more joyful life. Amen and amen. And so, beloved, you may remember last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure, when Pam Fodor for Our Time for All Ages gave a meditation on a flame. Do you remember that? Some of you were here. And do you remember that our children came up and stood up and did the meditation? Do you remember that? And if we have any children who'd like to come up or anyone else who would like to come up, and do you remember how the rest of you sat in your chairs? Right, well, good. I'm going to invite you to, I love this. This is not Bob's picture, but I had to show it. It's a cactus with flowers. Right? So cactus are like these prickly things and then these flowers that bloom. Isn't it like us, life? So this is the meditation was on the flame of freedom, and this is on the flower of freedom. So I do invite you, as you are able in body or spirit, to stand as you're able. And I invite you to just simply notice your feet on the ground, on the floor, and stand tall. Yeah, like a tree. Feet firmly planted on the ground. Let your arms rest gently at your side or holding your flowers in your hands. Now take in a deep breath. And exhale slowly. Imagine you are outside standing under a bright golden sun. Stretch your arms wide out and feel its warmth shining down. This is the light of freedom, love, and hope. Take in a deep breath and raise your arms over your head, reaching toward the sky, and let the breath out. And slowly, slowly bring your arms down. Now, I love my meditators who did it very slow. Bring your hands together as you're holding your flower. Cup your hands together now in front of your chest and look at this beautiful symbol of creation. This is the flower of freedom. Look at it. Just take it in. Look at its petals, its leaves. Maybe there's a bug in it. Look at its beauty. The flower reminds us of the joy of Juneteenth and of the communities of every kind, of people dancing, singing, celebrating the right to be free. But now, imagine that the wind begins to blow as you sway from side to side. Let's let our flowers rise up, opening your hands wider as the flower is blooming out, holding it up. The wind makes the flower bend, but it doesn't break. Sometimes the world is unfair and freedom is not complete, but watch, your flower doesn't break. You protect it by cupping your hands again. Bring your hands back together in front of you. You keep it safe, and you make it stronger. Take in a deep breath. And let it out gently, like a soft wind. Do that again. Like a soft wind. Now imagine, as you see the people around you, your family, your friends, maybe you even see people you don't know. Hold out your flower, extending your hands forward. See the beauty of the flower of your neighbors. See how this whole space, this entire space is filled with beauty. This is how we build a better world, beloved. One person at a time, one kind of action at a time, one moment standing up for what is right. Now take a deep breath in, place your hands over your heart, and slowly let it out. The flower of freedom blooms in you. You don't need to always carry a flower. You carry the beauty in your heart. Now open your arms out wide. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and then repeat after me. May we celebrate freedom. I want to hear that again. May we celebrate freedom. May we carry the beauty. Hands over our hearts. May we keep working for a better world. May the flower of freedom arise in us all. Beautiful. Thank you. You did so good, and everyone's voices were wonderful. So, beloveds, as we begin to close and go to our picnic and go on our ways, as I go to General Assembly and then we'll be off for a little bit of vacation, I'm thinking about all the beauty in this room. You're all just like beautiful flowers. Look at you. I love you. I invite you to join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, and the fire of our commitment. Hearts, and share with all the world. I'm going to give my a benediction before our going forth. Just before he was put to death in Dachau, Dr. Čapek wrote this prayer reflecting on his own life and the state of his spirit. It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Oh, blow ye evil winds into my body's fire, my soul you'll never unravel. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in the fight and everything would seem worthless, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul. My life was worth living. He who was pressed from all sides but remained victorious in spirit is welcomed into the choir of heroes. He who overcame the fetters, giving wing to the mind, is entering into the golden age of the victorious. May it be so. What better way to end but taking our flowers into that land? I invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing with me number 1018, Come and Go With Me. As we go from this place, go in peace, be makers of peace, and I couldn't think of anywhere else I would rather be celebrating the 22nd year of my ordination, and I love you. Come for a picnic. Let's have a picnic, y'all.